Welcome to Boroughs and Burbs with hosts John Engel and Roberto Cabrera. Over the next hour, you're going to learn some insider knowledge that will help you overcome and strategize in the cutthroat world of real estate. Now, here are your hosts, John and Roberto.
Welcome, everybody. It's 3:02 on the East Coast. Welcome to Boroughs and Burbs number 85. I'm John Engel of Douglas Elliman in Connecticut, and that is my co-host Roberto Cabrera on the west side of Manhattan.
And I work for Brown Harris Stevens.
Excellent. And today we have our special guest, Camilo Lopez. You say it, Roberto. You say it so much better.
It's Camilo Lopez.
There we go.
There you go. Hi, everybody. Pleasure to meet you all.
And you're in Miami.
Correct.
Okay. Before we get started, I just want to thank our sponsor, a nonprofit organization close to my heart, Grace Farms. Grace Farms is in New Canaan, Connecticut. They've just launched Design for Freedom, which is an initiative to end forced labor in the materials that go into our homes, offices, and public spaces. That is a big, ambitious project. How can you help? You can go to the gracefarms.org website, learn more about it. You can go physically to the 80-acre campus and the world-famous River Building and learn more about it. Or you can give tea and coffee as your closing gifts to your favorite clients. So I hope you'll look into it, gracefarms.org. And with that, I'd like to begin our second show of the new season, our second show on Voice America, by introducing Camilo. Say it again.
Camilo Lopez.
There we go. In Miami, who I have gotten the chance to know over the last probably 6 months, and because I've been using his software, and I am so excited about this software and about everything that I've learned about the industry from Camilo, that I just wanted to share it with all of you. When I told Roberto about Infinite Creator software, he said, wait a minute, all those videos you've been making, you make for $25 a piece on your iPhone? Wait a minute, that can't be true. And I said, no, it's true. I'm going to have Camilo on the show to tell you more about it. So with that, Camilo, tell me a little bit about yourself and your background and how you came to be the Infinite Creator.
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction. So I'm born and raised in Miami. I started a company about a decade ago that focused on doing one thing and one thing better than anyone else. And we focused on a niche, real estate videography. And at that time, there was no established industry for the need of marketing luxury homes with video. And so we set out to do that, and we created the standard for real estate videography. Over the next 4 years, as people started entering the industry, they started to emulate our style. So much of what you see across the nation, the style, the techniques, the look and the feel of what a real estate video looks like was emulated by a company that I founded about a decade ago. And about 4 years ago, we started diverting some of our profits into research and development departments at the company, where we put alongside all of our photo and video editors, we put a row of software developers. And about 3 years ago, the tool became so good, it was a professional tool that could create a professional asset. And what I mean by that is that a professional photographer, videographer could use this as a tool to provide a service to a realtor, meaning of somewhere in the neighborhood of about $500 to $1,000. They could provide a real estate video to an agent. About 1 year ago, that tool became so easy anyone could use it. And so that's been the progression of this tool. It's not some fly by night. We came up with an idea and we put up a website. This has been a story of over a decade that has created this tool. And so about 9 months ago, we showed it to Douglas Elliman. The corporate executives loved it, and we white labeled it to Element, but we have a public version for anybody that wants to take listing photos or listing videos. And in John's case, because he's so creative, he gets involved in the videos, even though we haven't really released, our agent branded content modules, which will soon be coming in the next month or two. So look out for that. There'll be 500 templates that give you ideas of how to walk and talk on camera in neighborhoods, and Happy Hanukkah, and you name it, there's going to be all sorts of videos, templates in the product. But long story short, when I say that this is so easy, anyone could use it, our step-by-step instructions, our in-app intuitive features, literally take a non-photography professional, a non-techie person, through a series of steps, but the final asset is professional. It's not some gimmicky thing you threw together on Canva. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using Canva, but I mean, it's not so templatey that it doesn't have any brand identity to you and to what you're trying to accomplish. And you don't
So
have to edit.
my experience is that I take my iPhone to a property, I open it up, the app, and it says, go to the foyer, take 3 shots. Go to the kitchen, I take the 3 shots. I take the bedroom, go to the bedroom, take 3 shots. I get these shots, and they are video shots, and it tells me exactly how to hold my camera in the app, make sure it's, it's level, and pan, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pan to get the video shot. And then and then I hit upload. It takes all my shots. It uploads them to the cloud. Magic happens. And I get to see a preview of my video on the spot. And if I say, yep, that looks good, I hit OK button. And within 24 hours, I get 4 versions of my, say, 3-minute video. And it has panning in it, and it's got slow motion in it, all of which was done, I thought, by the elves back in your studio. But what you've explained to me is that you are automating this process such that any agent of the 5 million agents we have in this country can upload this, and the machine will automatically edit and produce a professional product. Did I get all that right?
That's correct. Instantly on the video side, you get to see a preview of the video that you just created. And you have the 3 most common revisions that we get are delete a clip, swap a clip, or change a song. So we really wanted to find a way to eliminate that back and forth so you can get your final product sooner. So we enabled those features. We only enable features that we think are going to increase the experience. We want to take down as much thinking as possible so we can make it simple, and it's fully automated. On the photo side, we replace the sky, we automatically enhance it, we size it to the MLS, we load it in Dropbox, and we deliver final photos within 30 minutes. The video, because we have video editors that review and approve everything that you're doing, we ask for up to 24 hours. To be able to make sure it meets brand guidelines, and that there's nothing that we could have done better than the automatic edits.
Let me ask you something.
So,
Let me ask you, I see the way John's doing it. He's doing it horizontal, which would be the most cinematic way to do it. But in a world that is so vertical, do you have a way to make it vertical, or do you have to film it vertical?
The answer is yes, but there's 2 parts to that, right? So as of today, anything you shoot horizontally does have a vertical reel that is given to you in your Dropbox folder. So it's important that this video that John made got 3 versions. It got a client version, which means it had element branding and his branding in the video. It had an MLS version, also in widescreen, with no branding to meet MLS guidelines. But the 3rd file is a vertical Instagram reel. With that being said, when you're getting the crop factor on going from widescreen to vertical, there's a bit of a crop factor. So sometimes it looks a little too tight on verticals. So next month or the month after, we're also going to introduce vertical shooting mode. So you'll have 2 ways to get verticals. When you're shooting in vertical shooting mode only, you're going to have more field of view, but you're gonna have to shoot it twice if you want a widescreen and a vertical. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it does. So you're really dependent on, not dependent on, but you're taking advantage on and piggybacking on the technology of like the iPhone and the cameras. I used to carry around all kinds of, I mean, I've loved photography my entire life. And I always used to be the guy who took all the pictures, and everybody was amazed with all the pictures I took. And now virtually, except for a long shot that's like from a distance that I can shoot with a long lens, everybody's producing anything they want as easily as just touching a button. So you're really relying on that technology, right?
Well, in part, every technology uses other technologies, but it's how there's certain features that we've created that are patented. And then it's the way we assembled it and the experience and the final product that makes us unique.
But if someone has an iPhone 7,
yep, it's
not going to look so great.
Listen, that's the reality of life, you know. I personally recommend to everybody, we're available on Android and iPhone. I personally recommend like an 11 or better, an 11 or 12 or better, to get the highest quality possible. With that being said, I've seen some great videos that are not on those. So, you know, and in a world where we're so video dependent and people need to, you know, try things before they commit to it, I would just say get started. And then once you realize how big this is going to be for your business, upgrade your iPhone. Once you got the hang of it, do what John did. You know, he went and he got a gimbal, albeit unnecessary because we have a patented technology that does not require anything other than your phone. We have internal stabilization and speed reduction instantly on the fly. But when you start getting as, you know, so advanced as John has gotten, you know, the next and final level, besides having a good phone, would be to invest $100 in a gimbal, if you want to go that far.
What about, so I noticed that on this particular video, I know that John had done a voiceover on it. What is there a capability to walk and talk and capture the audio of you walking in this?
John is the only person in our beta program of doing the walk and talk at the moment. So it's not a feature that's available today, but it's going to be available in a month or two, where there'll be teleprompter, there will be voiceover capabilities, there will be interview capabilities. So we're really excited about those features, because it is, in my decade-long experience, you know, having video content has a multiplier effect on your business. But once you start getting on camera and you start talking as a local market expert, you know, that gets into the subconscious minds of your viewers about 6 months later. And that's a really good place to be when they want to start, you know, buying or selling a home, right? That's like the postcards, you know what I mean? The postcards, that's what it was in the 90s to be in the postcards, even though those still might be relevant today. It's the same idea. You're trying to have as many touch points with your image, your personal image, as possible. With that being said, video is 88% of the internet right now. The video consumption rate over the last 5 years is astronomical, and where it's projected to be in the next 5 to 10 is even more so. I don't suspect other technologies that have been claimed to be, you know, innovative, like virtual reality, augmented reality, are really going to have the kind of impact that video will have for the next 10 to 20 years. So it's never been a better time to get started with video if you haven't already.
Can you tell me about sorry, John, one more second. You mentioned an enormous number of templates that you have. What is the difference in the templates? Is it just a storytelling? It's a different story that's being told through the sequence, or like, what is the variation?
So right now we have 3 templates, but they're only for properties. They're condo, townhouse, or house. But in our agent branded category, which we're about to launch in about a month or so, there will be maybe like 15 categories, and within those, there'll be about 30 templates each. We're going in the direction of having about 500 templates. Probably when we launch, we'll have 100. And every month thereafter, we'll be loading about 50 or so. You know, there's property.
But what makes one different from another?
Sure. No, they need to be very different so that, you know, you can create as much unique content as possible throughout over the course of a couple of years. But they could be an agent tour of a property, could be a neighborhood tour, could be an agent bio video. It could be Happy Hanukkah, market update. But really, really well thought out. I mean, these videos, we were paid $4,000 to $5,000 to create them for agents. And so what we did is we kind of reverse engineered all the work we did over the last decade. And so there was about, 500 or so of these. And so we decompiled the logic, and we made these templates available inside the app. And so it'll walk you through step by step. Like, I need you to get a 3-second shot of you getting out of the car, a 3-second shot of you walking into your brokerage office, sitting at your desk, signing a contract. It's literally going to show you the preview of the 3-second shot to give you a visual representation and a text idea of exactly what you're going to do. And you just capture them when you can. And then once you pay the $25 at the end, or soon thereafter, these prices are going to get even better, because we're going to have a subscription option of $59. You'll be able to have access to all of these and create content and have a content map throughout the year and save a ton of money.
So is the ideal clip length 3 seconds? And what is the ideal full length within like a minute?
So the B-roll shots, and these are shots without audio, they're 3 seconds. But when you're doing an interview where you're doing a voiceover, it will be the length of the video. So at the end of collecting all your B-roll shots, our software knows when you pick the song and you've put in all your B-roll shots, our software knows how long the video is going to be. On average, our videos are between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. The only limiting factor of how long the video is going to be is the song you choose. I think our longest song out there is 3 minutes. So technically you can make as long as a 3-minute video. So at the end of the process, now it's time to do your interview or your voiceover. Our software is trying to guide you to be just under. So if it's a 2-minute video clip, we're trying to get you to be like a minute to a minute and 50 seconds of whatever speaking time you're going to have. And so our teleprompter kind of paces itself based on the text you put in. And so if you don't want to speak that fast, just remove some text. So
that's great.
All very well thought out.
I think that what's interesting to me, Camilo, when you say you've got templates, and Roberto says, well, why do I need more templates? Well, Meredith is in a different industry. She doesn't show houses. She's in the insurance business, but they have stories they want to tell through video. Same thing with Pete there, who's looking down at his desk. I don't know if he's paying attention, but he's in the architecture business. So I know he has stories to tell about the houses, and they require walkthroughs. So I can imagine that you're building templates not only for John Engel to do a video on Rowayton, Connecticut, a town tour, as well as a house tour or a biography video, but that you're going to roll out videos for Pete, the architect, and Meredith in insurance, right?
Sure. And, they might not be applicable right out the gate because we're focused first and foremost on agents. But once you understand the technology, you could use it for off-label use. I mean, I use it for parties. I use it for all sorts of things. Once you realize how the technology is working, you can use it for anything. So with that being said, we are all about real estate. So contractors, insurance agents, mortgage brokers, most certainly we're going to have templates for them.
Meredith.
Go ahead, Meredith.
I hear you.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Meredith.
We'll come back to you. Just shout out when you're ready. I was going through some stats, and I'm going to just read them if you can't see them, but I'll put them up on the screen as well. I think it's really interesting. Real estate listings that feature video got 400% more inquiries, according to NAR. Real estate videos drive 157% more traffic to the website, says NAR. 73% of home buyers are more likely to interview a realtor that uses video. says Realtor Magazine. Only 37% of realtors confirmed using video in their marketing. So with all that success, why is only 37% of us using it? We're going to get to that question in a moment. And nearly all buyers use online tools in the search process. That's at 95%, according to NAR. So I'm going to come back to why 37% of realtors are using video in their marketing. And to explore that further, before you answer why you think the take-up rate is so low, I'm going to tell you that I asked the agents in my office, Pam, who's on the call, and I said, why don't you use this every day? And Pam said, I'm not good at making videos. So go ahead, Camilo, and then I'm going to unmute Pam and let her talk for herself. Go ahead, Camilo. Why is the take-up rate not greater when we all know that people respond to video?
Right. Well, it's a good question. And I think that that's certainly one of them, right? It's the confidence factor. I would say, anything you do, whether you're on camera or not, or your image is involved or not, practice makes perfect, and you have to invest in it to get good at it. So that's the first hurdle of creating a habit of doing something and gaining the confidence of doing it. When you throw yourself on camera, that brings a whole other layer of what you're thinking about yourself. Is this really adding value? Insecurities pop up. I mean, I've been in video production for a decade, and my team has to really push me to get in front of camera. And I know this work inside and out. And so I feel for everybody that's out there, but as I overcome those concerns about myself and needing to get on camera more, everyone else really needs to as well. And so I think that's an important factor. With that being said, like anything else in life, practice makes perfect. And this is my hope for this technology is that this is going to help be an equalizer of sorts. I've over the last decade, and this kind of goes into my second one, which is video is kind of complicated, expensive, and time consuming, right? Over the last decade, I worked with the top 1% of the 1% in the real estate industry. And, they have the resources to spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month on video production. But they were doing that because it had a return on investment. They were doing it because it helped their business. And so I actually think, and some big MLSs that I'm speaking to think that this is going to help retain agents in the industry that otherwise would leave this year as there's, income compression with, the change in the economy. And so I think to answer your question in summary, video is usually time consuming, expensive, complicated. And then you have the subconscious layer of, am I doing something valuable? Do I suck at this and whatnot? And the reality is we really think that we solved all three of those four, right? The fourth one is just me basically saying practice makes perfect. Start today, get started. Over time, you're going to get better and better at it.
Exactly.
Easy for you to say, go ahead, be more confident. I mean, can you give me some tips on how to increase my confidence and how to practice?
Well, listen, recording is free. Editing is what costs money. So keep doing takes until you get it right. That's the first thing. I always say that even when we're in a shoot, just keep taking the takes. Stop getting frustrated with yourself. Just you only need one of them. So what does it matter if you do 5 or you do 15? One of them is going to be great. And then, the next time you do this, you won't have to do 15 takes. You'll do 10. And then eventually you'll be one take John.
Pam, how many takes are you taking?
I do one and that's enough. I said that I'm done. It's
And
so frustrating.
Another one is some people might at first be conscious about their self-image and doing it and whatnot. We have the voiceover feature, right? There's going to be 2 features, interview and voiceover. I just want you to start getting used to doing videos. Do a video. If you think that video will be better with a voiceover, do a voiceover. But the whole thing is you need to get active in the process of creating video content, and we will make it simple, cost-effective, and not time-consuming.
I think the fear that most people have is they feel that it needs to be so polished.
Correct.
And, if you do, I guess in quantity, it's just like going on an appointment. When you first start, every appointment seems like this incredible, intense moment. And then after a year, you've done several hundred appointments, and it's just an appointment. So you just do it.
Correct.
And also
so
feeling like you're being redundant, like every agent saying the same thing. You want to feel like you're unique.
What's interesting about your software, though, is it doesn't even require, in its current form, it does not require you to write a script. You merely have to go and start, pull your iPhone out and start shooting. And it says, and you know what? I just went to London. I met with a bunch of other agents there in London, and they said, "How do I do this?" And I said, "Pull your phone out now." And I said, and every time you go do something, instead of just uploading that shot to Instagram, just upload, get a shot of us getting on the bus, get a shot of us, visiting this castle, get a shot of us touring this townhouse, and then hit upload, and you can upload your London tour. And a bunch of these agents said, yeah, you know what? I'm going to try that. John Shore from Wellesley, Massachusetts is right there on the show. He was one of the guys on the trip who, we were all talking about the excitement of being able to create, instead of just putting your clip, your amateur clip on Instagram, trying to capture maybe 10 clips, uploading it to Infinite Creator and having it come back with music and slow-mo added into a finished, polished product. That's the difference between what we're already doing on Instagram and TikTok versus what I think you're taking it to the next level, which is automated, inexpensive editing of that work. I took it to the next level and I said, can I be in the video? And Camilo said yes, because, I like being in front of the camera. And then I said, can I add a soundtrack? Now, my soundtracks do not sync up with the images. I don't know how they're going to edit the images when I upload the software. So I'll just write a script that I know has to be 40 seconds. I'll read it into my iPhone, and I'll just send that audio file along with my clips. And like I said, the elves at Infinite Creator just do their magic and add my voice track perfectly to the video, and I get a finished product. But apparently that's going to be available in the next version within a month.
So Camilo, let me ask you something. When you do have the walk and talk feature, and what is the recommended like lavalier mic that someone would attach to themselves if they're at a distance? Say they're across the room, and they're walking towards camera or whatever. Like, what sort of microphone would someone use that's like compatible to an iPhone?
So the iPhone, thinking about the iPhone in general. Can you hear me?
Better.
Okay. So speaking about the iPhone, it has spatial audio. You don't actually need any lavalier. The underlying technology can really capture audio at a distance, remove echo, and be almost as good as a lavalier within, maybe 5-6 feet. And so I think one of the things that makes Infinite Creator so special is because we don't need a gimbal and we don't need a lavalier. Assuming you decide to go that extra mile, yes, on Amazon, you can find lavaliers that you plug into the bottom and onto your, to your shirt for as little as $10-$20. And like all things in life, a little bit more you spend, the better it is. But in general, I've seen great success with those $20 clip-ons. There are gimbals that are $50. I use DJI and they're always $150. But that's optional. And I think that's really important because those things create extra layers of complexities and impediments. And what we're trying to do is make this available to anyone as easy as possible.
So you can do it on the spot.
Correct. You just need your phone, follow the instructions, and you're done. Put it back in your pocket. You don't got to remember to charge a gimbal or know how to get calibrate it or make sure it's charged, whatever. You're just ready to go, create on the spot. Everybody's got their phones with them at all times.
Let's talk about your comment that the democratization of the industry. You and I talked a good deal about this. Who is responsible for, making the video? And you said, I'm going to provide the tools so that every agent can make the video, can make an extraordinary video. Basically trying to take, and philosophically, we talked about whether Zillow was going to own the content, was the agent going to make and own the content, who owns the content, and where's the balance of power, in the real estate equation. You want to talk about that a little bit? Do we want to go there?
Yeah, well, I don't mind talking about anything. I'm not scared of anything. So, when I meant democratization, I really was talking about the top performing agents versus, everybody else. There's nothing that they're doing that I find wrong. I just find that because of the financial resources, if I look at the average agent that gets started in Phoenix, Arizona tomorrow at Keller Williams, they don't understand that this is a business, right? They're just getting started and they're trying to invest as little as possible. And so giving that agent a tool to create video content on the regular is great, because the average agent couldn't spend thousands of dollars a month on video content. And most certainly I know this to be true because I spent a decade providing video content for top performing agents. And so when I meant the democratization of video content in the real estate industry, that's what I mean. Creating a level playing field, making video accessible to all agents. Going into your second thing that you touched on about IP rights, content creators in the industry are giving you a license to use the technology. They're not giving you anything other than that. They own the negative. You have the license to use it in perpetuity for your marketing purposes. But what happens is that what people don't understand is that when you give it to the MLS, they're saying to you, realtor, are you the owner of this product? And you're saying yes, because you're just clicking the box. And the MLS wipes their hands on the IP issue, because that's their lawyer's jobs, is to wipe their hands with any liability that can come to the MLS. And then they go to anybody who has API access to the real estate data. And they're basically saying, I, the MLS, own this data. And here, use it for helping, expand the reach of our agents with this content. And then when that listing is over, it's, the deal's over. But, that's a real complex conversation that I can go even deeper. But in short, you're co-creating on this platform with our editors. And so you guys own this data. You guys can send cease and desist letters. You guys can, you guys are the owners of it. It's really that simple.
I think that's a really important point, because I will say that I mentioned video, that I'm making videos to the management at Zillow, and they're like, oh yeah, we love video. You should just upload all the video you can onto the Zillow platform. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, what did Camilo say about the rights and the ownership? And I hit the pause button, partly because a couple of my clients over the last couple of years have said, can you pull that video down? I'm uncomfortable having video of the inside of the house I just bought out there for the whole world to see. And so the agent does have to take some responsibility of controlling access to this. And so I think it's a very important topic, a very important conversation that needs to take place. And it's a very important point you make, that the agent owns the video. So
correct. It's not only intellectual property, but it's real estate data. And so that real estate data in the hands of a platform that uses data in a variety of different ways to monetize, to grow their business, like Zillow at some point, had a lawsuit with the real estate photography industry, and it went all the way up to Supreme Court. And what's ironic is that as they were dealing with this multi-year battle, the lawyers at Zillow, I believe, because it just happened to be the timing of it. Pretty much the same year they started this lawsuit about Zillow monetizing the data after the listing was closed. Immediately, all of a sudden, Zillow started getting into content tools. And the first thing that they actually built was a real estate video app. Now, this video app was absolutely garbage. It was garbage. But you know what? They had all the rights they needed to monetize that data in perpetuity to contractors, to insurance companies, government, whomever they're selling data to. That's their business. I don't find any faults with that. But at the end of the day, they needed a legal avenue to monetize it. So it shows you how important the intellectual property is and the real estate data is with the activities that you're doing. And we think that we built something 10 times better than 100 times better on the video side and than Zillow did. And most certainly they don't have a photo app. So they have some tools. All of them are really geared towards professionals. None of them are really geared towards realtors or anybody, right? My mother can use Infinite Creator, and she's an educated woman, but she's not a photographer and she's not tech savvy. And she's definitely not a realtor. Anybody can do this.
And from a standpoint of the video, like a lot of the video, it's a story, it's storytelling. The way you set this up is you're helping people tell that story, right?
100%. You're storytelling about the house, or you're storytelling about your neighborhood, and you're connecting your brand with it. This is branded video content. And in the event that your voice or your image is on it, you are further identifying yourself and your business with video. And there's nothing more powerful than that.
Can I ask you something? Who in your space are you competing with? Are you the only person who's at $25? Why didn't you make it $100? I mean, how did you get to that space? And you're also offering, which I think is amazing, you said your first video is your first $25, credit is free. I mean, that if it's that simple and someone's like, wow, let me give it a shot. I mean, you're really throwing down pieces of popcorn for people to follow you down the rabbit hole. It's incredible.
I'm going to put on the screen your biggest competitor as you answer this question. I want you to talk about how they charge.
He's not afraid of anything. Go ahead.
He's not afraid. But when I do a search on video for realtors, Real Talk comes up. And so I clicked on it first. They're sponsoring, the top of the search on Google, and they come up, and this is $89 a month subscription. How is it different?
So, I haven't really gone real deep into that company, but from what I understand, they're pre-creating relevant local video content for you that they license to a lot of realtors. So the first thing is, it's not custom to your brand. A lot of other agents in your area will have similar content. It's very templated. It has relevant facts, but you can create the same kind of content customized to your brand. It could be customized to your brand. I didn't know. I just saw right now they have a component where you can put your face on it. So I would just basically say, after looking at this, that I think we create a professional, high quality video compared to this one. The only thing is at the moment, we don't have any content that would be pre-inserted for you. All of the content is original to you. And so I guess the IP thing and the cost would be two big things. And I don't even consider them a competitor, but I'll certainly look into them a little bit more.
How did you come to that price point? Just curious.
I mean, I needed the technology to be completely downward scalable, which meant that if we wanted to have 1 million people on the platform, that it would create content at scale without any issues. And really, we wanted to be at $20, but we started out with 25. And the inevitable goal is to have subscriptions, and that'll be at $59. But we think that the 500 templates alone will be more than enough to justify the $59. Mind you, this is not only listing content, but agent content. It's not only video, but it's also photo. And another thing is, all of our customer service reps are video editors. They're not just the typical customer service agent. I could probably, I'll send you, after reading their website, some pros and cons to both platforms. But the big thing that they do, that what I just noticed, is they have pre-populated content. The positive of that is that it requires a little bit less work from you, the agent. The downside of it is it's not going to look as good, and it's not going to be custom to your brand because other people are going to have it.
How does your technology manage the light balance? For example, I mean, you're in an apartment. If I go with a photographer into an apartment, they're going to shoot from an aperture of, 0.1 all the way up to like 22. And then they go, post, and they blend it together such that the outside matches the inside, et cetera, et cetera. And how can you, on video, it's a lot more difficult to do because you have essentially a singular aperture setting. How do you balance that?
So the underlying iPhone technology, and this happens in other phones as well, are able to, even better than DSLR cameras, handle that automatically. And now, in some cases, you might say, no, Camilo, that's not the case. And I would just say, you just need to get a little bit closer to the windows. Just a little bit, even another foot or two will make a big difference. Eventually, the sensor will pick up on the dual exposure and properly expose for both the interior and the exterior. And so that's pretty much taken care of with the device's technology. And that used to be something only reserved for $50,000 cameras, the Hollywood cameras, now inside of your phone. John, another thing is, that other company, Keep Current Matters, I don't think they have listing content. They just have like market update stats. And now I'm seeing that they're allowing the agent to put their face on the video. But we do photos and video. They just do video. We do listing content and agent content. They just seem to do like market update videos, and now a little bit of agent content. So I think there's and then the price, of course. But there's definitely nobody in the industry that has all of what I just said that's completely downward scalable. There's like maybe one company out there that just does video, and they're not completely scalable, and their price is like 8 times higher than ours. We're pretty much blue ocean at the moment. I don't see any competitor position the way that we are.
And you are, where your markets are, because you're virtual, you can be anywhere. Person in Australia can pick you up, anybody.
Correct. Right now, we're only English, but we have every mobile device on the planet and every mobile number on the planet, because that's how you log in with your cell phone number, is enabled to log into the device. To log in is like literally under 10 seconds. And you don't ever have to remember a password or create one, because we send you a token to your text message to get in. So in about 3 months, we'll have Spanish, Italian, and a few other languages. But right now we're hyper-focused on the US. As we expand into some international brokerages, we'll be in 60 countries.
All right, we have about 10 minutes left. I want to dive into, once I make the most brilliant video and I love the video, how do I get people to see it? And I think that is half the battle. I've made some beautiful videos and I've put them up on YouTube, and I've put them up on Instagram, and I've been disappointed with how many people have seen them. And I think, man, I just spent an hour making that video and editing it so carefully, or $25 with Infinite Creator, and 25 people saw it. Is it really worth it? And you and I have talked a good deal, and I know you have some tricks. I don't know if you'll reveal them today, but I know you have tricks and thoughts about how to get better distribution on both social media and YouTube.
Well, so let's break it into two, right? Listing content and agent content. So listing content, you only need one buyer. So only one right person needs to see it. And so there's two aspects to the video. One is how well it does on social and YouTube and whatnot. Right, we can go into that whole thing. But let's just talk about the listing process. It's on the MLS. It's being sent out by buyers agents to buyers. It gets viewed more than you think, right? On your social channels, it's one thing, but your Vimeo/YouTube video, if it's being put on the MLS, it's being viewed by hundreds of real buyers, right? And at the end of the day, you only need that video to impress one buyer. And so from that aspect, it's always worth it.
So the first thing I should be telling my clients is once it's on the MLS, it's being seen by hundreds of your most likely and most important viewers, even if we're not measuring that in our Instagram stats. Okay, go
Correct.
on.
Number two, your time is your most valuable commodity. If the video helps you not have a showing, it's actually good because it saves you time. You can see more and feel more with video. So if the person sees the video, that is your first real tour of the property. And so if they basically tell their agent, you know what, no, not that one, let's go to another one, that's good for you, the listing agent, because now you have more time to focus on getting the right buyer. And so it is as much about attracting the right buyer as it is detracting the wrong buyer. And so that's just to like get some aspects on the value aspect. It's always a good idea to have a video on a listing, and the $25, you will make it one way or the other, whether saves you time, because it does, in both the shooting aspect, the editing aspect, and also helping you avoid unnecessary showings. When we get into the aspect of social, the most important thing is posting at the right time. There's certainly all sorts of technology out there that tells you good times to post. Hashtags are important because more people get to see them. It ends up in Explorer. And tagging people. People are like weird about tagging for some reason. Tag everybody. Tag anyone. It doesn't matter who you tag. It's, they can't do anything about it. They can just either engage with you or not. And you'd be surprised who might reshare it, right? This is about so tagging, hashtags, and when you post, and using video content. I'll give you guys a little bit of insight on platforms in general. Platforms are businesses. They want to make money. What is the number one way a platform makes money? They make money because of something called viewer time on site. The longer viewers are on site, the more likely they are to get advertising dollars. They make money on advertising dollars. What is the number one thing that helps platforms of all types? Doesn't matter if it's Facebook or Zillow or whomever. The number one thing that keeps viewers on site is video. Every platform in the world, for that reason and that reason only, prioritizes video content. So if you choose between loading up a photo or loading up a video, the video will pay tenfold because the algorithm is designed to prioritize it. I don't know how much. I don't work at these companies, but it's certainly prioritizing them. And so video content first, hashtags, tag everybody, try to tag at the appropriate times. I don't know much about that. I mean, there's tools out there for that, but I know that that's relevant. And how to get more out of there. Listen, there's no substitute to putting a few bucks behind the video, right? You can pay to prioritize it. These platforms need to make money, and I've gotten 150,000 views and put in $50, $100. You got to spend money to make money.
I love the fact.
TikTok? Do you have an opinion on TikTok with regards to real estate? Just curious.
As it relates to real estate,
Is it effective?
It's another platform. It's got a different demographic. It's usually younger. It doesn't mean that it's not already getting adopted by people of all ages. It is no different than Instagram. I just think Instagram is right now, first and foremost, the most important. You got to manage your time, right? Everything in business is about time management. As you find automation tools that could help you just automatically publish, great. The more channels you're on, the better. I personally focus on Instagram and YouTube. I have all sorts of other channels that I don't ever look at, and that I have a team that actually manages them, of which all of the channels, the ones that are currently making me money is Instagram and YouTube. With that being said, TikTok is, yes, it's something. There's a question on if it's going to get banned one day from the US. And in my personal opinion, that's another topic. It should be banned. That's for another podcast.
Are there any, aside from not doing video, are there any no-nos in doing videos? Like, just if you're going to do a video, don't do this.
God, you would think that there would be a no-no, but sometimes the dumbest thing go more viral, and that's just a sad factor of our society. So I don't really got an answer there,
All press is good press kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're the only, you can only control yourself, right? Like, I can't control you. I don't really know what's a bad thing. It's your brand, it's your identity, it's your business. You know what the no-nos are for that. For video, continuity and consistency are the only thing that I recommend. I don't actually have any no-nos. Besides I personally don't put any alcohol in the videos. If there's bars, I don't put the alcohols when pertaining to real estate. My only two brand guidelines in the back end is nude art, which there's some houses that have that, and alcohol. Those are just my rules. You can have your own rules, your own latitude about what you accept for your brand and what you don't.
Remember, Roberto, he's in Miami. They have there's a whole different culture down in Miami with respect to rules. I don't know if what works in Miami works in New York.
So can you
plenty of it in New York City penthouses as well.
Can you define for us what you mean by continuity and consistency?
Yeah, sure. I'd break that down. So continuity is really about the level of quality. I see a wide variety of, like, the first rule is just get as much content out there as possible. But with that being said, if you have control over, the continuity of it, is try to make that content similar in quality and in format and style. And so I believe as a producer of content, agents were getting by default our style. And when they would do it consistently with us, our style was basically part of their brand. And so what I would say is try not to have a varying degree of quality. Don't have, a third excellent quality, a third crazy quality, and then somewhere in the middle. Like, try to be close within 10 or 20% the quality. And that's what I mean by continuity is because that ends up being part of your brand. So I'm not actually saying don't do bad quality videos. Just stick with it. Right? If you're going to do it
it's about creating an expectation that people are, when they see you come up, they know what to expect and okay, I can rely on this to be this.
They're accustomed to your quality, and there's actually nothing wrong with rough, like holding up your phone and vertically talking to it. That's kind of rough, let's say, but stick with it. Just stick with that as much as possible. If you go a little bit better sometimes, don't make it go extreme. So that's what I would say on the continuity side. Consistency is make it a regular habit. Create a map to whatever your beat is going to be, your cadence is going to be. If that's one video a week or one video a month, obviously the more the better, but create a cadence to it. Don't do 10 videos and never do it again. So yeah.
That's good. John, you had something before I interrupted you, sorry.
No, I thought that was a great line. I think a lot of us are having a tough time with, why we got into this business is, we relate to people, we take people on a journey to find their dream house. And now, for a lot of us, we're being asked to become, social media experts. And a lot of us are saying, I didn't sign up for this. I wanted to be a realtor because I wanted to focus on the deals and the real estate and the people. And now suddenly I have this pressure to be on Instagram and to and to be a media star. And so I can see that there's a natural tendency to say, I don't want to learn one more thing. But I think the data is compelling when they say that there's a 400% increase in your effectiveness when you use video. You can't deny those numbers.
Oh, you also can't deny that the entire listing process is creating content. Whether it's copy, whether it's photos, whether it's video, whether it's postcards, it's all about creating content. You know, so I would argue half of your business, whether you're attracting clients on the seller side or on the buyer side, you're creating content. And right now, the most valuable asset on God's green earth is video. It's just that simple. And so
I think that's a great way to close. I think we're out of time, but
Yep.
I think you just said it right there. Video is that important. Thank you, Camilo Lopez in Miami, creator of Infinite Creator Software. You can download it from the Apple Store. Thank you, co-host Roberto. I'll see you again next week, and we're going to do the Marble Show. And thank you to my network, voiceamerica.com, where you can find all 85 episodes. Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All clear. Great job today, everyone.
thank you.
Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Was I early or late with the ending?
Oh, you were great, John. No worries. All good. Take care. Have a great week.
Okay.
No, that was an
Thanks.
excellent
guys.
presentation.
Thanks, John. That was great.
Thanks for doing it.
Thanks, Camilo.
Thank you.
guys.
Roberto, it looks like you've calmed down a little. Looks like you're a little bit drier now.
I am.
He's got to go sell a house now. He's
Yeah, I
like
do.
already
I
late
do.
for the, he's got,